Destroy all who
a series that absolutely needs no introduction. Hey, can we hurry the fuck up? Well, I just started recording No. Cut the intro. We need to hurry up and get this done so we can get back to Space Marine 2. We're gonna get back to it, but we gotta finish the summer of Warhammer 40K. Look, the Tyranids are still coming. I just upgraded my combat knife, and my Vanguard is smiling at his fellow Space Marines. That means he's either ready to go, or he's going to start fighting others out of boredom. So wrap this shit up, and let's get back to the front lines. Alright, I will hurry up. Jeez. Can you really blame me for wanting to hurry up? I fucking love this game. It's insane. Space Marine 2 is the game that all Warhammer fans have been dying for. No matter what faction you supported, everyone has dreamed of the power fantasy of the Space Marines. Games have given us a taste of these fantasies before in games like Dawn of War and Bolt Gun, but no game has gotten as close as Space Marine 1. Then Space Marine 2 came out, and it is now the most successful Warhammer 40K game, beating Dawn of War, Inquisitor Martyr, and even Darktide has been beaten. So grab your chainsword, sharpen your combat knife, and pray you find a lobby trying to play as a Bulwark or Heavy. It's time for the season finale of the summer of Warhammer 40K with Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2. War! Are you really shocked at this point? A Tyranid invasion has begun on the planet of Kotaku, which has been deemed crucial to defend and have called in the Cadian Guardsmen and the Death Watch? Yes, you play as a Death Watch Space Marine, and if you know anything about the Death Watch, you know that this one is a black shield, where a Space Marine is stripped of its original colors so you cannot tell what chapter he has come from. Crash landing on the ship, you are introduced to the gameplay in the World War Z section that my friends and I have been calling it. After battling against the Xeno faction, the Tyranids, you take off your helmet to reveal
Hallelujah! Hallelujah! The white man is back, baby! The white man is back!
I just want to say, that theory video I made a couple weeks ago about what happened to Titus, woo! I was fucking right! Let's go! Warning, spoilers ahead. Skip to this timeline for gameplay. Titus became a Black Shield Death Watch after being investigated in Space Marine 2, and you were playing as him the entire time. After being almost killed because he removed part of his armor in the middle of the fight, still think that's extremely dumb to do for cutscenes, I'm gonna be 100% honest. You are waking in front of the Ultramarine chaplain who says you have been rebuilt. Your name has been cleared from the heresy accusation, but you are still being watched because... say it with me, everybody. Innocence proves nothing. You become an Ultramarine once again, but you are demoted to Lieutenant and you have a chain wrapped around your arm to let others know you were a Death Watch member. You are then brought down to your captain, who doesn't trust you because of your history. So while working on earning the others' trust, you go forth and begin battling the Tyranids with your brothers once more. You get to see many side characters kick so much ass in this game. Katie and Trudes act like absolute badasses in this game, and have the actions to show it to you as well. Knocking Tyranids off of them, screaming at the enemy, and even killing enemies to help assist you in your battle. I always love it when NPCs are supposed to help you, and they actually do. Because the game is so new, I do not want to go through tons of the story, so I will mention some key points. It's the same fucking story as Space Marine 1, that's the joke I've been making about it. I'm not even kidding. As you work to defeat the Tyranid invasion, you find out that the Adeptus Mechanicus are trying to create a weapon to destroy all the enemies in one swoop. Somehow the Chaos Cultists are aware of this, and you find out they are here as well. You kill a Psyker that was under the control of a Chaos Marine, which causes a Chaos invasion. You find out the power cell from the first game has also returned, and Chaos are trying to use it for the weapon for themselves. As you stop the Tyranids by killing the Hive Lord / Tyrant, you focus all your attention on the Chaos, mounting a badass assault with the Custodians, Space Marines, and even fucking Dreadnoughts.
I love you. I want to take you away from all of this.
Ending in an awesome boss fight that shows off the amazing melee mechanics in this game, and it's just so perfect. So much better ending than Space Marine 1. Not that it was bad, it was just stupid that we had a 13-year-long cliffhanger. We're in the spoilers section, of course, so I just am going to mention this part. Chaplain was a Chad during the entire game. He gave off speeches to the other Ultramarines, he would always check in on you, he seemed like he actually cared about you. He seemed to support Titus, and even wanted to help him clear his name until there were rumors that Titus was being corrupted again, and then he started ridiculing you again. Hard. In fact, he started to sound like...
Leandros. My lord, it is time.
Fucking Leandros was Chaplain? I take back everything I said about him in this game. He is dog shit. That's the last thing you learn before Titus leaves to be reassigned to another mission. I swear if we aren't able to get revenge on that little fucker in Space Marine 3, I am actually going to commit heretical shit. I know I skimmed over the story a lot. It's because, like I said, the game barely came out. So I didn't want to reveal every single thing that happens, but there are some sections that I wanted to at least mention. The story, for me personally, is a 10 out of 10. I love the missions, the cutscenes in this game are absolutely beautiful. Beautiful scenery. This is absolutely one of the best looking games of 2024. And I am playing this shit on performance mode and not having any issues. I can't wait to go back and play through the story again on the hardest difficulty. I played it on Veteran as that was the experience recommended by the developers, and it took me about 15 hours to beat, and I loved every second of it. Fantastic work done by Saber, who clearly cared about this game. But it's not the story why most non-40K fans are here. It's the raw footage of the melee combat that has been shown. Slicing enemies in half mid-air, stomping bugs to death, blasting their heads with your bolt pistol, and sending them back to their hive mind in pieces. The gameplay is the forefront of why people want this game, taking a horde shooter to the next fucking level. Before this game, it was either a gun-focused horde shooter with maybe a bash for melee, or a melee-focused hack and slash where you dodge, block, and slash, with guns being second to melee. Space Marine 2 says, why not both? Allowing you to have 2 guns and a melee, integrating a parry system like no others, where if you parry or dodge at the right time, you are allowed to then follow up with a bolt pistol shot to the head of the enemy, dealing tons of damage. Blocking is a thing in the game as well, but I promise you, the parry system will make you feel like a god against hordes. The biggest complaint in Space Marine 1 when it came to weapons was definitely the guns don't feel as powerful as they should in lore, but these weapons feel a lot more powerful in this game. Depending on the difficulty, you might feel that these weapons still feel weak compared to the lore of 40K, but I honestly believe we will never see them in that power that we all think of, solely in terms of balancing. While we are closer than 13 years ago, I get it. The bolt gun is a staple of the Space Marine weapons. Hard to make your starting gun broken to the point where nobody uses the others. Speaking of bolt guns, there are so many more than I ever thought was around. Carbine, stalker, heavy, snipers, and variants of each of these. Plasma weapons as well return, and melta weapons also. But we also see the Plasma Incinerator and the Multi-Melta as new weapons. And then we have actual classes for the PvP and operations. Fucking hell, operations are amazing! During the story, you are met up by another squad before you head on your ship from time to time, ordering these men to do things while you do your objective. During that story mission, you will hear Titus talk about them and their progress. This isn't just dialogue, you can actually go play these missions. So there's about 14 missions in the campaign and another 6 operation missions that you can play. That's 20 long-ass missions for you, and they are connected. And the operation guys are customizable and different classes than Titus. You can run a heavy salamander chapter, or a Deathwatch bulwark, or even create your own chapter like we did with my clan, the Amethyst Kings. Back to classes first. There are 6 classes for you to choose from, and you are only able to have one of the class in your squad of 3, sadly. The reason is because these are actual named Space Marines, which kinda sucks, I'm gonna be honest. I wanted a squad of bulwarks, but I firmly believe we are going to have that option of multiple classes in the Horde mode that's coming next year. Tactical. The standard Space Marine. You get access to the biggest list of bolt weapons and have a chainsword. Your ability is a scanner that reveals enemies in the area, which can also increase the damage you and your team do to them. A basic class with lots of weapon options. Assault. The jump pack is back. Armed with a sidearm and 3 types of melees, the assault class is to be able to move quickly and slam down onto enemies, knocking them all around. Vanguard, my personal favorite. Armed with a combat knife or chainsword and carbine bolt weapons, the Vanguard can grapple onto an enemy to pull you in close to start shredding them with all your powerful melee-focused build. Bulwark, clearly the most popular class. Armed with a shield and 3 different melee weapons, let's be honest, you're gonna pick the power sword because it's the only class that gets it. The Bulwark can block range attacks, can summon a banner that recharges armor quickly, and if you build it correctly, can act as an apothecary to your team, allowing them to regen health upon executions. You also get a bolt pistol for any enemies that you cannot reach with your sword. Sniper, a class that will probably be overlooked but shouldn't be. Armed with some of the most powerful weapons in the game and a combat knife, the sniper can cloak themselves and get out of a bad situation, only to be found again in the back, one-shotting warriors. Do not skip this class, you will regret it. Last but not least, Heavy. Armed with some of the biggest weapons in the game. Heavy Bolter, Multi-Melta, or the Plasma Incinerator. You will mow down your enemies, and because you do not have a melee weapon, that will matter to keep them afar. Luckily, you can bash them with your gun or stomp the ground to create an earthquake. Turn on your Iron Cross to create a shield to protect you from range damage, and return it back to them with your weapon. All amazingly fun classes that everybody should try. They all feel unique and powerful, while there are of course some complaints, such as the Assault Jump Pack doesn't go anywhere nearly as high as it should have, and the Heavy's lack of a melee is a huge disadvantage. Once you build into these with their unique perks and weapons, you will start tearing your enemies apart. Not only are you fighting PvE, there is also PvP in this game, just like the first one. The PvP is not something I personally cared about, but I did look into it for this video. The PvP slaps hard. It reminds me a lot of the Doom multiplayer and Gears of War multiplayer with simple matches of TDM and such, where you play as Chaos Marines with basically no fucking customization, by the way, gonna dock points for that hard, or your custom Space Marines, in simple team deathmatch style matches with all the classes, perks, and abilities, making it pretty fun. I did hear that operations and PvP are going to be buffed and nerfed separately, so here's hoping that there are some of the classes that feel a little weird, especially Assault's Jump Pack, get changed without ruining the PvE or PvP or vice versa. But if you are going to slaughter all these enemies of the Emperor apart, you are going to want to represent your favorite chapter, and Space Marine 2 has you covered. As you play, you earn credits which can unlock over 40 plus chapters, including the Season Pass, with more on the way with the upcoming year. Just like our last video, here are some of the chapters explained here. Imperial Fist. The stalwart brotherhood of the Imperial Fist is one of the stony resolve. They might lack the inclination of governance of the Ultramarines, or the compassion of the Salamander, but they more than make up for it in the matters of defensive wars of attrition. When the Imperial Fists take to the field, you can be sure that not a single enemy will break their fortification, even if it costs their lives. They are the masters of blade and bolter. They are the impenetrable defense. In the Emperor's name, and in the name of their Lord Dorn, they let none survive. Blood Angels, the noble paladins clad in blood red, the angelic tears bathe crimson vitae. They are a chapter of Astartes that few can deny are among what it truly means to be an Astartes. Enriched with a deep culture, they master their temptations in artistry and unleash their fury in battle. Though they more closely follow the Codex Astartes than some of their cousins, they still place an emphasis on blade work. The last thing the enemies of the Imperium might hear is the lamenting howl of Horus Y. Ultramarines, the main protagonists of this game, so we of course want to mention them again. The warrior kings of Ultramar, masters of both statecraft and war. They embody the tenets of the Codex Astartes penned by their Primarch. The prize tactical and strategic balance and flexibility over specialization as other chapters might. Their chapter organization allows for only the best to take the fight to the enemies of the Imperium, while the reserves stand vigil over its systems. In the face of any adversary, they will remember one thing. They march for Macragge, and they will know no fear. Dark Angels, the chivalric knights of the Dark Angels, the wings which were legion before legions. They are the bane of heretics, the fear of Xenos, the hateful retribution in the shadows. Their chapter's organization is one that divides the best from the even better, where an Astartes finds themselves by the end of the service is either the Raven Wing or Death Wing, both of which in unique ways excel in crushing offensives that their foes cannot stand against. Like a piercing lance into the armored figure of the enemies of mankind, their titles are many and deeds even greater. They are the Sons of the Lion, the Wrath of the Emperor, the uncrowned princes, the very first angels of death. Raven Guards, the masters of shadow, the deliverance of justice, the unseen Raven Guard. They excel at guerrilla tactics and assassination. They aren't just masters of emerging from the shadows and cutting the head from the snake. They perfected it as an art form. They are efficient in ways that other chapters are not, sending a scalpel instead of the hammer that others would prefer. This means that their casualties are kept to a minimum, though they will go to the ends of the galaxy to ensure their goal is accomplished. From the shadows they emerge, and to the shadows they return. Victoris aut mortis. The Salamanders, a personal favorite of mine. The venerable Salamanders are the fiery bulwark of humanity, the ardent shield of the defenseless. The war doctrines predicate civilian life over any other strategic objective, foregoing decapitation strikes for defensive battles. They are the Pyre Guard of Vulcan, who, like their father, take to the forge so that their war gear might better protect the weak. While this might induce higher casualty rates for less strategic accomplishments, in spite of this, they have a long history of legendary accomplishments. Into the fires of battle, unto the unveil of war. We're also going to talk about a couple of the Chaos factions as well, since we skipped over that in Space Marine 1. Chaos, the Black Legion. The Black Legion were the sons of Horus, most beloved of the Primarchs. In the hubris and ignorance of Horus, they were turned against the throne, and by the murder of a son by the hands of the father who was sent away to the dark corners of the galaxy. Now, reborn under the leadership of Abaddon the Despoiler, they seek to finish what their father started. Not for him, but for the way the Imperium scorned and shunned them. They won't stop until the death of the false Emperor. Chaos, World Eaters. The bloodthirsty sons of Angron are nightmarish to witness in battle. Howling and gurgling on their blood of the victims, the way they wage war is little more than barbaric butchery. Their overarching goals are the same as their immediate goal. Blood for the Blood God. Skulls for the Skull Throne. The butcher's nails drive them into a frenzy of war, especially when they set their weapons down, causing them to live only in perpetual berserker rage. Most can barely bellow out one simple chant. Kill, maim, burn. Chaos, Night Lords. Fear made manifest, terror given voice. The haunting torturers of the Night Lords are one of the worst possible enemies to encounter on the battlefield. Their tactics are designed to break the will of any defender, to avoid enemy offensives at any cost, and simply to enjoy the hunt of the prey. The moment you find a Night Lord, it is far too late. You saw him only because he wanted you to, and death would be a far better outcome than capture. They die as they lived, in midnight clad. Chaos, Iron Warriors. Siege, unbridled in its simplicity and yet unstoppable in its complexity. The nemesis to the Imperial Fist, the Iron Warriors are cold, ruthless, and without mercy. If they need to grind you down for that satisfaction of the daemon they trapped into the engine of a Land Raider, they will. Unlike most other war bonds, the Iron Warriors don't particularly worship chaos. Their religion is hate, with no room for deities. They are the realization of nihilistic warfare, where life on either side is a digit, a number, an expense. They are the iron within and iron without. Chaos, Death Guard. The slow, lumbering, bubonic advance of the Death Guard is rarely fended off. As the chosen of Nurgle, they can endure and dish out incredible amounts of damage without any concern. And the plagues of Nurgle can be cunning in their spread. They field a wide assortment of plague weaponry, armed with diseases they can even topple, even Astartes' psychology, save for the Iron Warriors. None of the Chaos warbands are as dangerous in the siege as the Death Guard. Chaos, Alpha Legion. The Alpha Legion is a deception, turning on your head what you believe to know, just to find out you are an unknowingly pawn in a distraction for an even greater ploy. They are everywhere and nowhere, everyone and no one. There are Farius, there are the Hydra. They are the enemy in front of you, the ally beside you, the helpless behind you. They are there at the beginning of the battle and will be there at its conclusion. Hydra Demonitus for the Emperor. In the end, Space Marine 2 is a fantastic game whether you are a Warhammer 40K fan or not. The gameplay is addicting enough to make you want to keep playing. The Season Pass has been confirmed to be only cosmetics, while everything else is going to be absolutely free to all players. I am really excited to see what the future for Space Marine 2 is going to hold. And I hope it is a long and prosperous life. Just please don't pull a Helldivers and nerf everything into being not fun, then lying to your fanbase saying you learned your lesson, just to do it again months later. Before I let you guys go, I just wanted to share with you one more thing. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Gaius has gone ahead and created a JSGI Space Marine chapter. If you're looking for a crew to represent and I'll help you out and play together in Space Marine 2, why don't you go ahead and hit the link in that Discord below. And come join the Amethyst Kings. We are a Space Marine chapter that is an Ultima founding, and here's a quote to kind of tell you what we are kind of about. It is by the will of the peasant that kings shall rule over them, and so it is the will of kings that death shall stay. Its hands just one more day. And that was written by Gaius. So if you're curious about our Space Marine chapter that guys has gone ahead and created for us, why don't you come on, join the Discord below, and come meet some new Space Marines who are ready to help you in battle. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. This one took a really long time to record and edit, so if you could do me a huge favor and just leave a like and comment, and why don't you go ahead and subscribe. I plan on covering a lot more content. Warhammer 40K is starting to become a big thing, a big deal in my mind, and I'm enjoying the game a lot. Now, after all this editing in this video, I am finally going back to playing the game. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next week.